Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'm looking at a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called The Stuff of Legend. This is a new one by Third World Studios, and is a 3 to 6 player game that takes roughly an hour to 2 hours to play. It is a fully cooperative game with a semi-cooperative trader element in it, so you never quite know whether your fellow players are working with you or against you. This game is also based on a New York best-selling graphic novel of the same title and is set in the 1940s, where the Boogeyman has gone into a boy's room and captured him, pulling him into his realm known as the Dark. His devoted toys that are left behind, or hopefully devoted toys, have set off into that realm to try to rescue him from the Boogeyman and his army of disgruntled toys that have either been cast off or just are not used anymore by the boy and are very upset about that. So throughout the game, players are going to have to make hard decisions, voting on who they want to activate when, and trying to navigate this realm, moving to different locations and discovering and having to encounter different encounters that are going to mess with them, including adding new minions and leaders and all kinds of stuff in the hopes of rescuing the boy and trying to make it to the correct exit, as there's going to be a number of exits around the Dark Realm, and if the toys pick the wrong one, then the Boogeyman has won and the boy has lost, or is lost, and the players that are working with the Boogeyman are going to be the winners. So they're going to try to deceive you and make you choose the wrong path, so you gotta keep it on your toes. So in this video, we're going to go over the main features of the game and show you an example turn just to give you a good idea how the game plays. If you're interested in checking out a playthrough video, I'll link up in the top corner to that as well, where me and my friends are going to be playing through a 5-player game of this that is crazy and just, oh my goodness, the amount of conversation, arguments, and just unwillingness to trust each other is astounding in that video, so definitely check it out. And as always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and produce this content. If you want to stay in all my videos, also considering that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new stuff. So let's head to the table. We'll see what this one's all about. Before getting into the game, I do want to mention that all the materials you see here are prototype materials and are subject to change, and it'll look a lot better in the final production copy of it. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the features of the game. So first, let's start by taking a look at the heroes that players can play as. Each hero is going to have its own card that's going to list the hero's name on the top, and then each hero is going to have a strength and a weakness. And then each of the heroes is also going to have 2 skills associated with them. And there are 3 different types of skills. You're going to have Scout, and then there's also Fight and Talk. And each one of these is going to have different effects when the player is trying to complete different actions, whether it's fighting off minions or running from them, or scouting different locations and all kinds of other things that players are going to face throughout the game. And there are 6 different heroes that are included in the core game. We have Quackers, Percy, Max, the Jester, Harmony, and the Princess, and each one of these has their own, again, strengths and weaknesses that will help them be unique and individual within the game. From there, our heroes wouldn't be heroes without some enemies to face. So first off, the major bad guy, the main protagonist, is the Boogeyman, and he is going to be controlling this realm. He will have a number of different effects on the game, and his token will be on the attention track, depending upon the different things that the heroes do that may move up or down, which is going to dictate the number of hit points his minions have and the distance that they can travel during the enemy's turn. He's also going to have a deck of cards that are going to be his Boogeyman cards, and these will be revealed throughout the game under certain conditions or circumstances, and there's a number of different effects on these. Some of them, such as the Sinister Game cards, will remain in play until another Sinister Game card comes out to replace it. Other ones are going to focus on specific players, so the personal attention will be given to that player and will affect them in some horrible way throughout the rest of the game. You also have Dark Gifts, where you have to give this card to another poor player, or passing interests that are simply going to be revealed and resolved immediately and then discarded afterwards. And then, like I said, you also have minions, which are going to be the little guys that are going to just slow the heroes down and do some potential damage to them, so it's something that you'll definitely have to deal with. And then you will have the leaders, so these are the bigger bad guys that are the leaders for the Boogeyman, and these guys are going to have all kinds of different effects that'll trigger under certain circumstances. They have a lot more hit points, and they'll also have their own tiles out there on the board as well, so you can identify them. And the final main feature of the game is the locations and encounters decks, and these will be placed out during setup onto the playing board, as you're going to see in a minute. With the locations, there are 4 different locations in the game that the players are going to be potentially moving through as they progress through the game. And as they get close to these locations, you're going to reveal them and resolve their effects, with some of them having some positive effects for the players, others having negative effects or will add troops to the locations, as well as some cards just having no effect at all, where the players can breathe a sigh of relief. You're also going to have encounter cards, and as players move into a new space, there are going to be 1 or more encounter cards on there that the players are going to have to reveal and resolve. Some of these encounters will have tasks that the players can try to complete by having enough symbols. Others will have allies in them, such as the gingerbread man, that will allow the players to make a choice and resolve its effects throughout the rest of the game. And once you reveal an ally, you can hold on to them and use them later. You also have other cards that will again add troops or other effects, and even having leaders come out that the players are going to have to deal with or run away from. So there's a couple other features that I want to go over, and then I'd like to show you a sample turn to give you a good idea how this one plays. So first off, moving back to the players, each player is going to start the game with a hand of 7 cards that they're going to be able to use throughout the turn to do a variety of different things. Each one of these cards will have 1 or more symbols on the side that they can use in a variety of different ways, either being able to help pay the cost of certain actions, or boosting other actions that they are playing, or assisting other players in the actions that they're trying to do, as players are going to be asking other players for help throughout the game. You'll also have cards that'll only have skill symbols on them, and then, like I said, you'll have cards that'll have these skill symbols and actions on them. You're also going to notice that some of these cards are going to be covered in a black slime or goo. Those are the stained cards, and when 1 or more of these is played as part of an action, it's going to trigger the active player's weakness, and that is going to impact them in some way, whether it's directly impacting the player or affecting the game in general, or putting a penalty on the other players. So there's a number of different things the player is going to have to work with within that. Another big part of the game is the loyalty, as this is a hidden role. You don't know where each player's allegiance lies. You hope that everybody's working together, but there are some traitors in the midst that are going to be employed by the Boogeyman to help bring the demise of the group. So you'll have those loyal to the boy or those loyal to the Boogeyman. And there's also a couple other cards in here, like the Colonel's Heir and Scout, which are 2 special cards that the players may get and will do different things, and it also is going to be based on the number of players in the game. So this deck is going to be built at the beginning of the game, and then each player will receive 1 card from this deck. You'll also place 1 on the unused loyalty to help potentially identify or eliminate a possibility within the group to help you along throughout the game. So from there, let's get into the game itself and the player's turns. So in the player's turn, each of the player's turns is going to consist of 3 actions that the players are going to take. First off, you have to choose an active player, and this is done either by players volunteering and then the group as a whole volunteering. So let's go ahead and say that Harmony wants to be our first player. So she says, hey, I have a really good thing that I can do. I can move to another location, and the group can agree with that or not, and then they will vote on that. So let's go ahead and say that Harmony is voted in as the first player. So her action token will be placed over here, and this is going to fill up. This will keep track of your 3 actions throughout the turn, and then once the players are done, those heroes will move into the exhausted heroes box, and that way then all players will have a equal chance to take a turn, as they will not be able to take another turn until all of the heroes have gone. So we'll have 3 heroes go into the exhausted pile, and then the last hero that was not chosen for this round will be the first hero during the next round, as I'm playing a 4-player game. So from there, then Harmony is going to have to make a choice. And there's 3 different options for her. She can do a standard action, which will allow her to potentially try to move, or to hide, which will allow her to move the attention meter down on the Boogeyman and help the group get noticed less by all the enemies that are out there. So then there's the action one. So she can choose a card from her hand to take an action that's on that card. And then the final one is to simply discard a card and do nothing. So there's different choices for the players to make. So let's go ahead and say, for example, that she just wants to move this time. So she's going to say, well, I would like to move forward to this space up here. So then as a group, then again, you're going to do a vote to see if the group agrees with that or not. If the majority of the group agrees, then you will move the marker forward. If they don't, then unfortunately, she is going to stay there and her turn has been wasted. So let's go ahead and say that the group agrees. So she would move up to this location. This card is a location card that would, once revealed, is going to be discarded, but I wanted to leave it there so that you could see that. From there, when she moves in here, we're going to have to reveal and resolve this. So we found the leader, nasty leader. So with that one, that is going to be placed off to the side until we handle it. And then we have to find that leader's token. So let me pull that one out here. There he is. And then we are going to move into that space. Now, anytime you move into a new space, any space that's connected to that space is going to reveal its location and have to resolve it. So this one here is the encampment. You're going to add one troop to this space. That troop does not activate this turn, and that's only when the Boogeyman symbol is triggered. So we'll leave that face up. And then we're also connected to this space here. Wall of the War. When heroes enter this space, reduce the attention level by one space, so that's nice. And then finally, we are connected to this one as well. And this is the Golem's Pass. When revealed, add 2 ruined zoo encounters here and place the rope bridge token that it connects to the space of the jungle. So then this one would actually add the rope bridge connecting those 2 spaces, as there's no connection to the jungle otherwise. So you have to find that card within it. And then you would also add 2 encounter cards to that space. So that would conclude her turn, as that is all she can do, and she does have to discard a card for doing an action. So I will get rid of this one. So you will not reveal any card that you discard, and you will place it up there. One other thing I do want to go into before covering any more are the exits. So at the beginning of the game during setup, you're going to mix up the 7 exit tokens and then place them out in the 4 locations on the board without looking at them or revealing them, then placing the other ones back in the box. There will be 4 different spots that the heroes can potentially exit throughout the game, but there's only one true exit, which most of the time is going to be the highest number among the 4 exits that are out there. So the players are going to have to move along the board, trying to get peeks at these different exits to help them determine the true exit. So that is going to be part of the game, and there are going to be certain tasks or different things that the players will be able to do that will grant them those perks. But again, when a player gets to peek at those, then that player has to tell the group what number is underneath there, but they will not reveal it. So they might be honest or dishonest, and that is something that the group is going to have to deal with as well. So then from there, then it would move back to the players to decide another player to go. So with that, let's go ahead and say that Max is nominated next, as he has a good amount of attack, and we'd like to try to take out that leader if we're able to. So the group nominates Max to go, and so then he is going to try to do an action. So let's see what he's got. He has the Grand Duel. So this one says, as an action, he can try to kill a leader in his space, then raise the attention level by 1 space. This action costs a number of fights equal to the leader's health. So our leader here has a health of 3. This card itself gives Max 1, and Max actually has 2 fight as well, so he wouldn't need any assistance with this. But let's go ahead and say, for example, that leader's health was higher. Let's say it's a 7. So from there, Max could choose to play additional cards that have a fight symbol on them, or the yellow symbol, which is a wild symbol, which will count as any symbol you need. Other than that, if he doesn't have those symbols, he can ask the group for help, or each individual player. And then each individual player can say yes, they would like to help, or not. If the agreement is achieved, then that player will play 1 or more cards to assist Max. Now, those cards might be stained cards or other effects that might help or not help Max, but that is a risk that the players are going to have to make. Once that is completed, then you would resolve the effects of it. So we would have enough to eliminate that leader, so his token would be removed and his card would be discarded, but then we'd also have to resolve that effect by moving the attention level up one, and then any cards we use are going to be discarded face down. So from there, let's go ahead and say that Quackers was the last to go. He resolved an action, and then the players move into the exhausted spot. From there, then it's going to move into the enemy's turn. So based on the attention level, every minion that is within 2 spaces of our group will move 1 space. So this one here is going to move 1 as he is 2 away. This one here is 2 away, so he will move 1. This guy is going to move into our space, and this one will move up. And the rest are too far away. From there, then any minions in our space would attack. So any minion that's in there, we'd have to take a wound. And so each time our marker moves down 1 space, we are going to take and resolve that effect. So the first one is that one player in our group that can volunteer will discard 1 of their cards. Then it's the one player would have to discard 2 cards, and then 3 cards. And then finally you have to flip the token, which is going to have multiple effects. It is either going to show the boy, which means that you'll have to move the boy's marker down 1 space on the track, and if it ever reaches the last space, the boy is lost, the game is over, and the loyal toys have lost. The other symbol is the Boogeyman, and if this one comes up, you have to draw and resolve a Boogeyman card. You're also going to have to flip this anytime a player runs out of cards or chooses to discard the cards, and the group has to agree on that, discarding those cards to redraw a new hand of cards. And this is going to happen throughout the game as players run out of cards or are able to convince the group that they don't have any good cards left to discard their hand and hopefully draw some better cards. And again, this is going to continue until the players move off of one of those exits. As soon as that happens, the game is over. You'll reveal all of those exits on the board, and if the group has chosen the correct exit, then the loyal toys has won. If the group chooses the incorrect exits, then any player that is part of the Boogeyman's crew is going to win. Or again, if the toy or the boy's marker reaches the last space on the track, then the loyal toys have lost and the Boogeyman's accomplices have won. So I hope you found this video helpful in deciding whether or not you want to back this game on Kickstarter. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and leave me feedback on them. I do really appreciate it, and I love communicating with you guys. It's so much fun hearing everybody's opinions and seeing what you guys think about this stuff. So until next time, I'll see you later.